everyone, and Happy New Year. Today we are going to read The Day After. The day after New Year arrived without announcement. No fireworks, no countdown, no clicking glasses. Just a pale winter morning easing itself through the curtains, as if the world were careful not to wake anyone too quickly. Snow had fallen during the night, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet, patient kind. It thin layers on the rooftops, on the branches of the trees, on the sidewalk where yesterday's footprint had already softened and begun to disappear. The sky was a washed-out blue, almost white, as though it had not yet decided what color to be in. Inside a small apartment, the heat clicked on and off with a family rhythm. The air smelled faintly of last night's dinner and something sweeter, orange peel and cinnamon from the tea brewed just before midnight. Mara woke later than usual. She lay still for a moment, listening. The building was quieter than it had been in days. No laughter in the hallway, no doors slamming, no distant music drifting through the walls. Even the city outside seemed to be holding its breath. She pulled a blanket closer around her shoulders and smiled, just slightly. The day after New Year had always felt like this to her, like the world had exhaled after holding too much excitement in its lungs. Eventually, she sat up, feet touching the cold floor. The chill made her more awake than coffee ever could. She padded into the kitchen, moving slowly, unhurried, as if there were nowhere she needed to be, because there wasn't. The kettle went on. She stood at the counter, leaning her elbows against the cool surface, watching steam begin to curl upward. Outside the window, a single bird hopped along the railing, picked but still locked. Inside, trays of bread cooked on racks, fogging the windows slightly. She imagined the walk inside. The hum of ovens, the baker moving slowly, perhaps just as tired as everyone else. Farther down the street, a cafe was open. Only one table was occupied. A person sitting alone with a notebook and a mug, staring out the window. Myra hesitated, then went in. The bell above the door rang softly, a polite sound. The cafe smelled like coffee and toasted milk. The barista smiled, not brightly, but warmly. The kind of smile that didn't expect conversation. Happy New Year, they said gently. Happy New Year, Myra replied. She ordered something simple and sat near the window. From here, she could see her own breath when she exhaled, just a faint cloud that disappeared almost immediately. She lay at how nothing stayed for long. She didn't take out her phone. She didn't open a book. She just sat, hands wrapped around the mug, watching the street wake up inch by inch. She thought about the year that had ended, not in big moments, but in fragments. A rainy afternoon, a conversation that had lingered longer than expected, a night spent walking home under street lights, feeling both lonely and peaceful at the same time. The year had been full, heavy in places, light in others, and now it was over. That thought didn't make her sad, it made her calm. After finishing her drink, she left a little extra change on the table and stepped back outside. The cold felt sharper now, but she welcomed it. It made everything feel real. She walked toward the park. The gates were open, though hardly anyone was inside. Snow covered the glass in uneven patches, and the pond was half frozen, its surface still and gray. A few ducks stood near the edge, unmoving, like decorations forgotten after a holiday. Myra sat on a bench, brushing snow aside before settling down. The wood was cold, even though her coat grounding her. She closed her eyes for a moment. She listened to the sound of her own breathing, to the distant hum of traffic, to the faint creak of trees was out thin but bright. When she opened her eyes again, the world looked the same, but she felt slightly different, as though something inside her had been gently rearranged. She stayed there a long time. Eventually, the cold reached her bones, and she stood, brushing snow from her coat. She walked home the long way, past streets she didn't usually take. Some windows were dark, others glowing softly with leftover holiday lights. A few still had trees inside, ornaments catching the light like quiet stars. Back in her apartment, the warmth wrapped around her instantly. She hung up her coat, set her boots by the door, and went to the kitchen. Lunch was simple. Soup warmed slowly on the stove. She ate standing up, then carried her bowl to the couch, tucking her feet beneath her. The afternoon drifted by without shape. She folded laundry, watered the plant by the window, let the radio play quietly in the background, not only listening to the words, the sound of voices existing somewhere beyond her walls. At one point, snow began to fall again. This time, she noticed it because the light changed. The room dimmed slightly, shadows growing softer. She turned off the radio and watched flakes gather on the window pane, melting as soon as they touched the glass. She felt no urge to do anything else. As evening approached, the sky turned the color of faded denim. Street lights flickered on one by one, casting long reflections on the wet pavement. The city felt tucked in, cozy in its own way. Myra cooked dinner slowly, letting the process take longer than necessary. She stirred, tasted, adjusted. The smell filled the apartment, comforting and familiar. Afterward, she washed the dishes and dried them immediately, placing each one back in its place with care. There was something satisfying about order on a day like this, about starting the year with things quietly put away. She lit the candle and sat at the table, not to write resolutions, just to sit. The flame flickered slightly, responding to the smallest movements of listening to these footsteps.